Hey, what up team? It's Joe Mill here, back with Killer Miller Q, and today we're going to be doing a much awaited video. I'm finally getting around to doing my 8-month review of the Lone Star Offset Smoker. I'm going to be bringing you in, showing you some of the things that I did as far as upgrades, as well as how I feel about the overall unit, some of the things that I wish was a little bit different, and my overall opinion. Other than that, let's get right to it. Alright, I'm bringing you in first time today. Here go my baby. 8 months in. Of course, I had to clean her up a little bit since she was gonna be on candy camera. But all in all, man, believe it or not, for the people that keep up with this channel, I'm out here every week in hot Arizona. This thing is holding on like a champ. Holding on like a champ. Still shining like white diamonds. Everything's obviously still holding on and intact. And we still looking good. Get them rims in there. So let's dive right in. First things first, we're gonna talk about some of the different upgrades that we got on here. The first thing that you see, as we just look at the cosmetics, I went with the off-road package. I'm out here in Arizona. I believe it comes with 5-inch standard. Then you can upgrade up to 8-inch, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And then you can go to the off-road package. At the last minute, I decided the best thing I should do is just go with the off-road package, and I'm so happy I did. For me, I wouldn't even have been able to get this thing through my yard with all this gravel and everything. And as far as it had to come from my actual driveway, there's no way. And I did all of that on my own. I'll make sure I have some of these videos linked, like my initial one where I actually uncrated the whole thing. There's no way I would have been able to get that done if I didn't have that off-road package, let alone I actually was able to get it, once I got it out, get it back here pretty easy because I had that off-road package. One of the other things was I elected to go ahead and get the stainless steel shelf. I definitely like it cosmetically. It looks good. It cleans up pretty easy. That was something that I wanted. The custom nameplate, I'm gonna bring you in here on my guy. You see it. I can't even tell you, like everybody probably you've seen in other videos when you're working with Chris and Amber, customer service was legit. They were able to put that together based off of some different things that I had and some ideas. It was not already put together when they got a hold of it, but I mean, it didn't take them much to come back with exactly what I was looking for. So I'm super happy with that. Super impressed as well. Little things. I added on a couple of the hooks here to, like, you know, hook your utensils or whatever have you. I didn't want to go with any type of standing rack or anything. I like the griddle and the direct grate access that you can get from having this baby open. So let's check out the old Firebox. One thing I love is this Firebox has plenty of room. One of my upgrades was the whole thing, I believe, is a 1/4-inch steel. I went and got the 1/2-inch upgrade, so a little bit thicker on my Firebox helps you to have a little bit more stable temps and everything, as well as my main thing I was also thinking about was long term. I figured with the Firebox taking the most of the abuse, going with a little bit thicker one, I got a better chance of it all holding on and it looking pretty in the end. One of the best overall, and I'll show you some of my things that I bought as far as upgrades like we're doing right now, was the fact that I got this fire management basket. I'll pull this thing out because I know the light's probably not giving you everything you want. The one thing I love about it is it's got this V shape that basically always funnels your wood down to the middle. So that way you always keep your coals centered and fire burning. The other thing is, and I learned this from, messing up other pits, it keeps that fire directly off of your walls. Now with this thick of a wall, probably wouldn't matter as much, but still, that's where a lot of times you start the beginning of your grill starting to get beat down. The fact that that fire is directly on that wall, I mean, eventually fire is going to warp and try to destroy everything. So even sometimes I always make sure to, when I'm thinking about it, to take this grate out when I know I'm not going to use it, so it doesn't sit here and just have to take that abuse, fire and fire after fire, when I'm not even using this side a lot of the times. This bottom plate that they put in here to actually hold everything, that thing is massive. You don't got to worry about anything. That thing will outlast you. That is automatic, and that's great when it comes down to just flat out, because a lot of people do just start their fire right off of there. That's great when it comes to overall keeping your unit together and not having it directly on the bottom. I did go ahead and get this ash pan. This thing is heavy duty, like everything on this pit. super heavy. What I do like about it is, just like I'm doing now, I never even actually take the whole thing out. I can pull it out pretty far. All of these racks automatically hold in just like the racks on the inside. So I can pull it out. I can bring in my little sweeper, sweep this up real quick, dump it into my ash pan, and push this right back in after I done cleaned everything up. And every once in a while, make sure you come through and respray your PAM all over your unit like you did when you initially seasoned it. That'll just kind of help you with, rusting and, keeping you a nice long life. So there was a couple of my upgrades there. Let's slide on to the back. I got the heavy duty fire poker along with the ash sweeper. And with that said, I got the hooks on the back to hold it. I figured if I was going to actually get it, having somewhere that I could actually sit it on is paramount. Because a lot of times it seems like that metal on metal or touch and contact is where a lot of that rust comes. So I hate to just have everything that's metal sitting down there. So even like that thing I use there to pull out my racks, I keep it usually on the ground versus on this actual rack. And the only thing I really usually put up here is like wood or my welder's gloves or something like that. All right, let's slide over this way. Now, in the midst of thinking about how I was going to do this video, it reminded me of something that hadn't been done, but we're going to take care of that. Which is, you're looking here at this charcoal basket, which has pretty much already got you the nice S weave set up. Idea being, you can go ahead and throw you some charcoal in there, along with some wood chunks at the bottom in a couple areas. And pretty much when you put in your few lit charcoals, you started at one corner and it will slowly catch to the rest of those. And this is basically to help you out with getting some sleep towards the back end of the night. Maybe when you got a brisket going or something like that, a long cook, and you don't want to have to sit there and babysit that fire. I have yet to use this. All this time that I've had this smoker over the last 8 months. So that's something that I'm gonna change here soon. So stay tuned for our 4th of July video that'll be coming out this Sunday morning, because we're gonna do something with this. I think it's horrible that I've neglected that, but I tell you what, I enjoy cooking on my offset. So a lot of times I don't necessarily not want to be maintaining the fire. I actually cook on here when I actually want to get up and actually mess with it. So other than that, I got a couple other things on here. I wanted to have these 2 holes put in. Basically, that they're going to come out and you're allowing you to have a port where you can reach your upper chamber as well as your lower chamber when you have your thermometer and you want to stick your leads through. That gives you that there. I'm going to pop it open just so you can see what we got on the inside. You got 2 heavy duty racks. I love the racks. I love the fact that they can come out, that they can hold themselves. And I love the fact that we got those tuning plates down there at the bottom. Now those tuning plates pretty much allow you to adjust the way that your grill will run as far as the temperature and the flow, adjust your hot spots, and pretty much be able to get you even cooking all the way around. This is the 24x40 Lone Star offset that we're looking at. This comes with 4 tuning plates. And to be honest, I've never actually done a temperature test in here. The Tell True thermometer, close this paper, yeah, that it comes with is usually dead on, and it's more or less for center and more or less right in the beginning, in the middle where you're looking at. But from there, to me, I can pretty much cook on it knowing the general temperature, and I'm always usually keeping an eye on my meat and also usually using some different probes. I might be getting that ambient temperature in that area, which hasn't been really far off, so I haven't had any issues. But that is something that I might want to play around with just to kind of look at for myself. Opening this back up real quick. There is a ton of space as you look down here into this offset, and you might get a view of it. I know it's pretty dark, but basically one thing that I do like, and I also kind of did an upgrade with, was getting the ball valve, which is right here that you can see. And basically that's nothing but a drain. Slide around that way, get a better angle on it. Easy handle, and you can pretty much flush this pit out whenever you need as far as getting rid of oil and grease. Or one of the #1 things that I liked initially was the idea that you can add water directly to the belly of this pit and choose this thing as a water cooker. That's another thing that I haven't done yet. I've never actually added water to the pit and used it as a water cooker. When I thought about doing it at that time, my pit was dirty, so I figured if I was going to do it, I should probably start off with a clean pit and all the dirty stuff in the bottom that's gonna probably be tainting my meat and everything. Last thing that I do like up here that I wanted to show you before I go ahead and close this thing down is this lip that they have. I like this lip because pretty much what it does is it catches any additional moisture. Now, truthfully, I haven't had a lot of moisture. I'm in Arizona. It's getting to the hotter months. I'm sure if I was running this as a water cooker, though, you would, because you'd accumulate so much more steam. But that's something that's nice. It's an add-on there that's automatic. Makes all of your stuff drip back into the pit versus coming all into the outside or anything like that, or running off and giving you a dirty look. So just a nice clean add-in that they put in from the Lone Star team. I think that's pretty much all of the upgrades that I got. Let's get into some of the things that I don't like. And I'm gonna leave it open while we're here, and it's a good time where you can see it. One thing that I like is how tight this pit is, how heavy duty everything is, how easily it holds in all this smoke. And then once you get all of this steel warmed up, best believe it's gonna hold its temperature, and it's pretty much trying to go in one direction. You almost gotta work to mess it up. Compared to cheaper smokers, lighter smokers, the temperatures usually fluctuate a lot easier. And what ends up happening is it doesn't take too much of anything for you to kind of mess up where you're at. Here, this thing likes to stay pretty steady. I found for me, the sweet spot is probably around 250, 275, something like that, between 250, 300. Loves to be in that area. As I'm getting into these summer months, it's a little bit hotter, so it's changed a little bit. But with that said, this thing still runs like a champ. But some of the things that I didn't like, on top of like this great seal that it automatically has, is I've noticed that I'm starting to develop this line, and you can kind of see it here. And I don't really know if it's anything. And in these back areas, I figure long term, that's probably going to end up being areas of, I'll let my phone adjust a little bit. There we go. Areas that might end up rusting that I might have to end up addressing. I don't really know if it's a true fix for it. And truthfully, that line and that groove was there pretty quick. I mean, probably within the first initial seasoning or something like that. Once it got hot, that's just maybe it gets hotter at the areas where it seals. But that would be one thing that I was just like, I don't love that. Just because everything is so pretty on this pit. It means nothing as far as the little things that I'm about to show you. It's just more or less so I could actually show you something that is a negative or something I dislike. But it's super small as far as all the things that I'm looking at. But just things with things when you're seeing so much perfection, almost just wish it wasn't there, you know. Those little lines and that crease that it's kind of creating. I got that same kind of crease going, and I've heard some people talk about one of the things that they dislike is how tough it is sometimes to, and my hands all dirty now, how tough it is to lift this shelf up. Once I understood how to do it, it does definitely snap in super tight, but I won't necessarily complain on that. But where this shelf hits, it also develops that exact same line that I'm assuming at some point I'm probably gonna have to address. Now, when the door's down, when the shelf's up, even when the shelf's down and the door's down, you don't see any of this stuff, so it really doesn't matter to me that much, but it was something little, okay? Something else that I didn't love. Right now, and this is something I didn't bring up earlier, on my off-road package, you get a giant, like almost a toy handle that comes off the end, and that's how you actually pull it. Being that once this baby got into place, I'm not gonna be moving it, and the gripe that I'm about to tell you about was the other reason I went ahead and just took mine off, stored it in the inside. That way it doesn't get all beat up and rusted up. No point in just having it out here. But that handle has nowhere to attach or to stay up. I've seen some people put together some different mods where they're able to kind of attach it up here. And that just seems like something that probably should have automatically been thought of, just so you know if you do want to leave that attached, it's not just always laying out here on the ground, because literally it would just lay over here on the ground. I don't think that's that cool. So that would be one thing. Obviously, and I think if you probably heard, there's not a huge turn radius with this outdoor unit. With that said, I was able to do what I needed to do. So, and I don't think it's made to just be wheeling all over the place. It's made to get into a spot. And I mean, this thing's like 1,200 plus pounds. So I expect that it's not going to probably be it's not like a car. So I'm not too mad at the turning radius. However, I do notice, and it was pretty quick too, that we have some of these scrapes and stuff in the areas where the wheel actually turns. You can actually see in this one where that's starting to already show some rust wear or whatever have you. So I wish that was a little bit smoother, so that wasn't something that was rubbing and causing that little bit of friction to make something that might rust. Again, super small, but that's some of the little things that I looked at. Other than that, when you're looking at this baby, I don't think I had too many other qualms. I will tell you one thing that I did in the review process that I want to make sure somebody else I can save you from. First, two things actually. First off, know that much like a new car, you are going to get scratches and scrapes on this thing. And I swear for me, every time was like a heartbreak, much like a new car. I hate to see it. Like every car wash, you see a new scratch on your car, something similar. So overall, my pit looks great, especially when you cook on it. In a real pit, should look like it's been cooked on. So those are kind of your war wounds and your stripes. But when I was seasoning it, one thing that I would tell you is be careful not to put too much spray, Pam, and stuff like that, especially when you're looking at these tops. What ended up happening was I sprayed my top pretty heavy, wasn't thinking, and then once I closed it down, and when I got it open, you can somewhat see the areas. There was some dripping that came off of the top and landed here, and it ended up bubbling my paint just a little bit right here. Now, when this firebox door is closed, you don't see it. So for me, I didn't make it too big of a mistake. And it doesn't look like it's rusting or anything like that, but it was just one of those cosmetic scars. This is another little area where some had pooled. And once I was doing mine, it got kind of late, so I really wasn't able to see. Otherwise I would have probably wiped it off with a rag or something and it would have been fine. You can see in this area, it pretty much ran off, started bubbling up right there. And I see some flaked off. And then I just had this kind of rundown line. Now, once again, once I close my door, you won't see any of that. So pretty small and minuscule, but I'd rather tell somebody else before they do the exact same thing and then they end up mad. So keep an eye on that when you're seasoning. Make sure, one, you got everything seasoning. Keep yourself a nice wet rag or something like that. So if you do see any areas where, you know, your Pam is running, you can go ahead and wipe that off. I almost forgot. There's one other thing that I wanted to kind of bring up as one of those things where maybe if I could have made, you know, my wish list of things, maybe I wish it was a little bit different. When we get in here and we talk about these tuning plates, and I probably understand the answer on why it's not done the way I'm about to suggest, but you know, you pretty much got to put them in yourself, and then they give you the recommended width that you should have between them. And the one thing is they slide, obviously, really easy. And with that said, if you're not out here, and especially once you clean your grill, if you're not out here with your ruler and everything, you never know exactly where these are at. So a lot of people talk about maybe using their drill bit, putting a little mark exactly once they figure out everything. Being that I know that they know the pits even better than I do, I kind of wish that there was like a little natural groove that they automatically sat in, and then maybe you could adjust from there, because I'm assuming sometimes people like their pits being hotter in one area, colder in another area, just so they can cook different things at the same time, stuff like that. So I like the idea of the tuning plate and how you can actually move them around to get different results. But I wish that just for the standard, maybe there was just like some already marks preset that were there for you, or something like that, or a groove or something that you automatically can slide them in and just help you out with the setup and make sure that you're always legit. And then from there, if you wanted to change them up, you can. Something super small, but that was something that I had thought about. Hey team, I wanted to jump in here real quick and let you know, thanks for watching along on today's video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you go to that bottom right corner, hit that like and subscribe button, check out some of the other cooks that you've already missed, as well as all the ones that's gonna be up and coming. Everybody else, I appreciate you. Know we're pushing this thing forward, and let's get back to the work. All right, team, so I thought I would bring it in close so we could actually talk about the overall process and my overall final thoughts, which you probably already know halfway. From the beginning, I ordered my smoker last year in May. So what, May of 2021? I ended up getting it pretty much right there towards the end of October. For me, I had some issues, not so much with Lone Star, more on the actual shipment company. As far as the Lone Star process, everything was smooth. Amber was great to work with. The questions I had for Chris, he was always prompt and got right back with me. Everything was exactly what I heard on every one of these videos that I kind of watched. As far as getting my smoker, picking out everything, obviously that's like a kid in the candy store, or a kid more or less going through that big catalog at Christmas or something like that. As far as finding exactly what I want, I pretty much wanted to get almost every upgrade that I thought I needed. One of the other things I think I didn't mention was I got the cover. That was something that, I mean, I look at it as, if you're gonna pay this much for this machine, and let alone, I'm always worried with things out here, the heat and the sun is so intense nothing pretty much lasts outside. So I knew I wanted to get it covered. And if I knew if they had one that was custom and it was supposed to be sun repellent and so on and so forth, it was worth it to me to spend the money to at least try to protect my investment. So far it's been working out great. It fits like a glove. And I also like that it's got the clips at the bottom to make sure that it doesn't fly away, because we do got monsoon season coming. So I'll be interested to see how that works throughout the summer. But anyway, I liked everything that as far as my process and getting everything together. One thing that happened with me was I missed my, and I've seen this from a couple people now that I'm in the Lone Star group on Facebook. I missed my initial call letting me know that I was in fabrication, that I was actually moving forward. And I was trying my best to be patient. And eventually I got to the point where I was like, man, I haven't heard anything. I've been checking my email, and pretty much all I was doing was searching Lone Star Grill, either Lone Star broke apart or Lone Star altogether. And pretty much that was my last communication I had. So I assumed that it would become something like that. And I missed it. And it came from more or less who they do the payments through, which was Intuit, Intuit, if I'm not mistaken. So when I actually ended up calling, they let me know that, yeah, you know, you've been a couple weeks into fabrication, blah, blah, blah. Needless to say, that made me happy. Start to finish, it ended up being about 6 months for me on getting my grill. Everything was smooth, and the one problems that I encountered was actually with the shipping company. When it actually got here to Arizona, it actually kind of got lost in transit. As far as when I was supposed to get it, it ended up being about a week before I actually ended up getting it, and it sat in the shipping yard for a while. So needless to say, you already know, if you've been waiting on something that you spent that kind of money on and that you are that happy to get, I was not that happy. But I'm gonna tell you something. When I finally got my grill and I had no issues with the packaging and I could look through the actual plastic and everything was perfect, I didn't care. Everything was good. All of them crazy emails I was sending off and this, that, and the other, I had let that energy go, and instantly I was happy. And I actually ended up taking a few days before I actually moved it and crated it and bringed it, or uncrated it and brought it to the back, because I wanted to wait until I had the amount of time that I wanted, the whole weekend, to really dive into it and not be inhibited, not have to worry about work. And I'm glad on how it worked out for me. Getting into it, and I guess my overall thoughts, which are always gonna be pouring out anyway. I love this grill. It's super easy to cook on. It's made like a tank, which first and foremost was something that I like. It looks appealing to the eye. It's something that I feel good and I take pride in. I tell you what, just putting the mineral oil on it, and when you clean it all off, it almost reminds me of being in the Midwest and washing my car. It gives me enjoyment. I love seeing it when it looks pretty and shiny and everything like that. And then as far as cooking on it, it's so easy. You know, it's obviously not the first time that I've been cooking with this grill. I was doing it way before this, and I got multiple other pits and grills and things like that. But when it comes to an offset, and I had a lot of other cheaper models, much cheaper than what I spent for this one. It's so nice. Oh, there go my water. It's so nice that at the end of the day, it's something that literally cooks for you and not against you. You know, I can open the top and I can do what I need to do, and I can close it back. You don't really lose any temperature. I mean, it might drop a little bit, but it pops right back. Once that metal and all that steel gets all going in one direction, it's gonna pretty much look the whole temp. And unless I do a whole lot, add a bunch of wood, really change the air configuration or something like that, this thing is gonna burn like a dream. It takes all of the work out of it for me. So one thing I will do is I did a fire management video. I'll include that one in here too. So that's something else that you can check out on a side note. But it really does make cooking fun. I enjoy when I get to come out here and put together these sticks. I think that's probably why I haven't used that charcoal management basket yet. And I tell you one thing, I was interested initially on potentially getting the fireboard. And I just thought it would be something that would be cool. You know, I like gadgets, you know, I like tinkering like a lot of other people. So I just thought it would be something I want to add in. After getting it, I'm so happy that I didn't. And I said that I wanted to master it first and then maybe bring that on. I won't be getting it. At the end of the day, I already got a pellet grill. And if I wanted it to be effortless, you know, I can cook a different way. But I enjoy, it's actually therapeutic building the fire. I enjoy managing the fire. And with this one, it's not that hard to do. So I feel like if I ended up having all those other gadgets, it would take all the fun out of cooking out on this thing. So I don't want to do that. So I probably won't be going that route. I know a lot of other people feel differently, and that's totally cool. But that's just something that I kind of realized for myself. I enjoy cooking on this one. It actually gives me joy, and I enjoy the process that it takes to build the fire and let this thing run. And I'm gonna tell you, I can't get my food tasting better than I can with that real wood that comes out of here. So pretty much you got an idea what I think about the product. Lone Star is the best, or at least one of the best. There's a lot of good grills you can go get a hold of or look at, but I can tell you this one. You got solid craftsmanship in this one. You got a solid USA-based company that's going to actually get back to you and take care of you if there's any issues from what I've seen and what I've heard. And at the end of the day, I'm happy with my purchase. I'm happy where I spent my money. Tell me in the comments below if you got a Lone Star, which one you got. I'm always looking. Who knows, I might be back at that lot soon. But other than that, catch this next video. We're going to actually break in this charcoal basket, and we're going to see what we can do, and we're going to try this overnight cook. Until then, Killer Miller Q, Joe Mill, and Black Smoke Barbecue. Peace.